Tessa's question is up next. You talk about critical mass a lot. So what is considered critical mass? We are currently in our mid-30s and are saving 30 to 35% of our income. When should we consider diversifying our investments outside of index mutual funds?
Great.
Well, there's really two questions there.
And Brian, you've got a book coming out here. When it's coming out in
May 28th.
May 28th.
Woo-woo.
Millionaire Mission. If people know about it, where can they go to check it out?
Yeah, I want you to go to moneyguy.com/millionaire mission, and we'll load you up with all the details, any promos we're doing currently, or also all the different places you can buy and check it out. And is this the right time to kind of give them an update on a big announcement too?
Oh yeah, we have a big announcement. Let's save it till the end.
Save it to the end.
It's a really good announcement too. We didn't discuss it.
You talk a little about the critical mass in the book. Like, it's one of the things that you talk about how do I know when I've gotten there? Like, how do I know that it's the point that maybe I should start focusing on this? What would you say? What would you tell Tess if she's trying to figure that out for herself?
Well, I think that there's several components. And one of these, I do have an entire section in the book, but there is one thing that I wish I could go back and add. But at some point, they just tell you, Brian, quit adding stuff to the book. And this new, because we've done social media, we've gotten great interaction on. I would tell you the first thing to pay attention to is how can you get to $100,000 as fast as possible. That's not officially what I consider full-on critical mass, but here's what I do know from just playing with the math, because we're nerdy, is even if you're saving $10,000 a year, it's going to take you approximately 7 years for that money to grow to about $100,000.
So you go from 100,000 to 200,000.
Yeah, so you have 70 grand invested. It's going to take about 7 years to get that additional 30 grand in there. So you reach the 100,000. But here's what's amazing: on your journey to your first $1 million, in the same 7 year period, you're going to watch your account value go up $500,000. I mean, that's the part that's amazing. Yeah. Now, look, I'm taking out some of the components of the different sections of time, like the 100 to 200, the 300 to 400. Sure. But once you get to, when you're trying to go from 400 to beyond, you're going to see how much faster it is. So focus on getting money in there early and often at the start of this. But the next part is when you get to 600, 700, 800,000, you're going to recognize, because we just had a question that said, hey, what's the tax buckets? How do I make sure that I'm structuring my portfolio from a tax location the most efficient way possible? And when do you add bonds to your portfolio versus just having index funds? When do I have real estate and all these other different ways, sweeteners or asset allocators? That's the type of stuff that's going that's when the critical mass of maybe there's a better way to do money and taking the relationship to the next level. Now, look, a lot of people out there, they hate on financial planners right now. But I'm telling you, we give you the answer to 96% of what you need. But you're going to find as you get successful, if you do everything we say, learn, apply, grow, and then reach a level of success, that is the abundance cycle, you're going to recognize that success creates complexity. And when you start having questions, how do I maximize this? How do I minimize taxes? How do I structure my portfolio so I actually have access to it when I want to retire early or do these things? How do I balance the insurance? How do I balance all the benefits of Medicare, Social Security, Roth conversions? There is a better way to do money waiting for you when you get to that point.
We talk all the time about early on in your wealth building journey, your savings rate is exponentially more important than your rate of return. I mean, exponentially more important. You can actually follow the math to see that be the case. I would argue that you are beginning to approach critical mass when that begins to flip a little bit, when your army of dollar bills, when your foundation has gotten so large that now when you think about the annual investment returns you're receiving, it's now replacing a substantial portion of your income, or maybe the portfolio is growing more in a given year than you're saving to it. Once your portfolio begins doing that, we're going to argue that that's the escape velocity. That's the critical mass that you're beginning to hit to where now you might not be at the pure staying wealthy stage, but you have gotten far enough, mature enough in the getting wealthy stage that you can begin adding some of these other components. If you focus a ton on asset location and all this type of stuff, when you've got $10,000 in your portfolio, you're just going to spend a whole lot of time for not a whole lot of benefit. You start thinking about those things when you have $500,000 in your portfolio, and it's going to be very different. The impact that those decisions you're making are going to have.
Yeah. And it works on both the plus and the negative, because there's get wealthy behaviors, there's stay wealthy behaviors. So that's the other part, is once you get to 7-figure status with several $1 million, when you lose 30, 40, 50%, you know how hard it is to recover that, because mathematically, I mean, you lose 50%, you got to make 100%. That's what people don't realize that. Whereas you lose 20%, you only have to make 25% to get back. It's funny how math works. So that's why you have to take your thinking to a higher level. But in the beginning, just get as much as you can get in there. Get in there early, get in there often, always be buying.
Tessa said she's mid-30s, saving 30 to 35%. Did she give us any indication where she is in her portfolio? Did she tell us what her portfolio size or anything?
She did not.
But that's to be in your mid-30s, like that's messy middle stage, and to be saving 30 to 35%.
That's incredible. It's great.
Is incredible. I'd encourage you, if you haven't checked out the Know Your Number course, maybe do that to see, okay, where am I moving towards? Where am I at now? How close am I? Am I at the place where maybe I should start thinking about some of these things?
No doubt.
That's awesome.